Thank you for joining us today for our monthly IMAP webinar. IMAP is an association of the Universal Peace Federation, or UPF, and it represents a global network of journalists who support a socially responsible and moral media. Journalism matters, and it plays a vital role in a democratic society. UPF is an NGO with general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. It was founded by Dr. and Mrs. Sun Myung Moon, who have dedicated their lives to fostering global harmony and understanding and tirelessly advocating for peace. Today's webinar is entitled Peace in the Middle East. Can non-governmental organizations make an impact? Although their activities are circumscribed by the complex political landscape, non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, can play a significant role in promoting peace in the Middle East by facilitating dialogue and reconciliation between conflicting groups, advocating for policies that reduce conflict, providing humanitarian aid, and highlighting human rights abuses. Their efforts to foster understanding and build trust at the grassroots level are vital. Thank you for joining us today with our panelists who have extensive knowledge in this area. Our host for today's program will be Pierre Beauregard. Pierre holds a BS in Business Administration and an MA in Religious Education. He retired in 2020 after a career of 20 years as a certified financial planner. In 2016, Pierre turned his focus to issues of marriage and family. He trained as a sexual integrity coach with High Noon International and also with Brave Hearts. And since 2017, Pierre has been advocating for legislation in Canada to protect children from accessing pornography online. Please join me in welcoming Pierre Beauregard.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we have people joining from all time zones today. Today, our topic is peace in the Middle East. Can non-governmental organizations make an impact? So the introduction mentioned about the role of NGOs, which play a crucial role in fostering peace in the Middle East by addressing the root causes of the conflict. They also engage in dialogue, mediation to build bridges between conflicting parties. Through their tireless efforts, NGOs strive to create a more just and equitable society, paving the way for lasting peace in the region. Today's webinar will focus on the humanitarian work of UPF in the region. You can read about our speakers in the excellent summer edition of the magazine Connections, which you can find on the website upf.org. One of the many excellent articles is by UPF's chairman in Israel, Mr. Hud Ben-Zvi. I will read his concluding paragraph as I believe it frames very well the topic our speakers will address today. We cannot sink into depression in response to current world affairs. Taking sides in conflicts based on social media trends will not do either. Since we cannot change anyone else, we must take the path of self-transformation, using our spiritual antenna to receive divine guidance. We should reject habits and concepts that separate us, showing compassion for the suffering and pain inflicted on so many, but avoiding the pitfall of dividing the world into victim and victimizers. Let us strive to become model parents, exemplary teachers, responsible leaders, and pioneers on the road to world peace. Today, we will hear three leaders of UPF in the region share about their humanitarian work based on their particular perspective and experience. We will hear their presentation, then have a period for question and answer. Please take time during their presentation to write your questions in the chat, and we will do our best to have our speakers address them after the three talks. Now let me introduce our first speaker, Mr. David Fraser Harris, Secretary General, UPF, Middle East and North Africa. From 1990 to 1997, Mr. Fraser Harris served as the International Religious Foundation as its director for its European office in Rome, Italy. He was responsible for the promotion of IRF's interfaith programs in Europe, which included both conferences and the international projects of the Religious Youth Service. From 1997 to 2012, he and his family lived in Damascus, Syria, where he taught English and traveled frequently to support the programs in Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey, and other parts of the region. He continues to support such programs from his home near Edinburgh. Mr. David Fraser Harris, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Pierre. Thank you for pronouncing Edinburgh so well. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. It's a difficult time to speak about peace in the Middle East because we all know there is none at the moment. So it's not an easy thing to do, but at a time when maybe the role lies to politicians to deal with the transformation from war to peace, somebody has to do the building and opening doors and opening minds and hearts for the sake of the future. And this is a role that I think every person on earth can play, but in particular NGOs find special ways to do that. The introduction talked about people on the front line, and while I did live in Syria, I don't now, so I can't call myself frontline. But actually we have two other heroes with us who are really on the front line, and the others that I will speak about, you will see there's amazing work going on with people who really are on the front line. So let me share my PowerPoint with you. And I've entitled this Humanitarian Responses in the Middle East and North Africa. And it's basically last year and this year, starting with the disasters that happened, for example, the earthquake in Turkey. This happened on the 6th of February. And if you look at this map, you can see the epicenter is right in the southeastern part of Turkey, Gaziantep, very close to Aleppo in Syria. And both countries were seriously affected. Syria being a divided country because of the ongoing war and conflict there means that there were two different parts of Syria that were affected and that were not basically communicating with each other. So the challenge was how to get help to all three areas. I will not speak about Turkey because Mr. Binod Paudel of UPF Türkiye is here and he will speak later. But this gives you an idea of the kind of places. If you see where Beirut is there, some of the help I speak out came up up into Syria, the western coastline of Syria. Other help came in from Turkey, so there are different ways that help was brought in to Syria, not to mention what happened in Turkey. Here are the first response team, which you will recognize later when you see Mr. Binod Paudel himself speaking. They went to Antakya, which is southeastern Turkey. So here, getting help into Syria, the people who first responded were UPF Lebanon. Lebanon is south of Latakia, which you see at the bottom there. Latakia is in government-held Syria, and you see above it there's a borderline and then a circle around Antakya, which is in Turkey. And then the next circle further up is Afrin, which is in rebel or opposition-held Syria. And then above that you see Gaziantep, which is the epicenter. So the ambassador for peace, Sohaib al-Habli, a Muslim leader from Saida in southern Lebanon, are organized to bring blankets very quickly, right after the earthquake, into Latakia. And here they are, beginning their initial transportation together with the director or Secretary General of UPF Lebanon. When we tried to bring help into opposition held in northern Syria, I've circled again Afrin, which is northwest of Aleppo. It's worth noting that there's quite a big difference between the fatalities initially reported from the earthquake in the regime-held Syria, 321, and in the opposition area, 7,000. So getting help into the opposition area was very important. We were introduced to partners by our Ambassador for Peace, Mohamed Habash, and this turned out to be the Association Sans Menot, which literally means the association without chains. That's because they were dealing, prior to the earthquake, with people who had been able to come out of jails, both government-held jails and opposition jails, and they were rehabilitating them. This meant they had a very good network on the ground, were ideal people to be the recipients of aid and transmit it to needy families. They were supported, as you see there, by Women's Federation for World Peace Birmingham and UPF in France. So here's a meeting in Birmingham, Women's Day that year, 2023, where they managed to collect £600, which was a great offering from the ladies in that small meeting, although it's quite big for them. And that money we managed to get directly to this aid in that rebel part of Syria. The ASM Association are 3 people out of the 4 in that picture on the right, with the furthest to the right is Patrick Jean of UPF France. And here are the aid being delivered in Afrin as a cooperative effort from actually UPF and Women's Federation together with the association. Reaching Aleppo was even more complicated. This was going into government-held Syria, and 2 people really made a big difference here. Hermine Shallan, who's UPF Lebanon Secretary General, Rihab al-Bittar, who's our Syrian Ambassador for Peace. Support came from IRFF Italy with the help of IRFF Germany. IRFF is the International Relief and Friendship Foundation. And we managed to get a list of medical items provided by a Syrian charity, Nabad, which is under the First Lady of Syria. So we had to go through months and months of preparations to get the help there. The Syrian government had many requirements: pre-approval of the list, approval and documentation, first from the local admin, then from the Ministry of the Interior, then from the Ministry of Finance. And you can see one letter with a lot of stamps on it on the right, which was very important. Anyway, finally, the things were shipped to Aleppo. They're ready in Beirut. You can see Rihab al-Bittar and Hermine Shallan there in the picture. In the middle, they got to the customs. This is between Lebanon and Syria. Well, that took 1 day just for the customs checks. And then they had to go 7 more hours driving and 20 more police checks to get up to Aleppo. When they finally got to Aleppo, they were delivered to a senior home for the care of the elderly in the Al-Mashatiya neighborhood of that city. And you see Rihab al-Bittar with the bright scarf accompanying the delivery. This was, the people here had been bereaved, people here had been maimed or badly injured by the earthquake. So this home was taking care of them. We will hear later from our peace ambassador in Morocco, Hajiba Ayoubi. She is a UPF ambassador for peace, but also a global peace ambassador awardee of the Women's Federation, a medical doctor. And she cooperated with the Anwar charity, which is a local charity in Morocco. And the funds that were raised and passed on through the Women's Federation were raised through a lot of donations coming from the Family Federation across Europe and the Middle East. So we'll see later from Hajiba. Then continuing, there was just a few days later after the danger, you saw the September the 8th, the earthquake in Morocco, September the 10th, 2 days later, flooding in Derna, Libya, after 2 dams burst. This was a very complex place to bring help. First of all, here's a message I received from our UPF ambassador for peace in Western Libya. There is a problem of logistics of delivering aid, even from within Libya to the affected areas. So they're saying, we can't do it. Go through an international organization. We can't help you. So we tried going through Eastern Libya. We contacted UPF Russia, and an ambassador for peace from UPF Russia recommended a Libyan businessman who's based in the Emirates. And he proposed that we send donations to a Benghazi charity called Life. We worked on that for some time, but it turned out to be unreliable, not because of the charity, but because of the channels we would have to use to get it there. So we reverted to the British Red Cross, and that's how we managed to get our donations there. Here is a letter of thanks from the British Red Cross to UPF UK, and at least we know there's a reliable aid getting into Libya. It took longer than we expected. Getting aid into Palestine is not something that we started just after the war. Of course, everybody was shocked by what happened on October the 7th, and everybody is shocked by the ongoing loss of life and the horror of it. It's shameful to see the fighting continue as it does. But we need to be clear, we were already preparing to bring medical aid into Palestine quite a long time before. In fact, on the right, you see the poster for a 2021 webinar called A Helping Hand. And in the pictures at the bottom, you see the founder of Project Cure in the US, the director of the International Relations Department of the Ministry of Health in Israel, as two key people involved in that webinar. And this was a cooperative exploratory webinar, and this was followed up early in 2023 with direct meetings with the Palestinian Authority and with Project Cure. So here you see in February 23, a meeting with the Palestinian President's Advisor on Religious and Islamic Affairs, and on the right, the next month, a meeting with the director and founder of Project Cure, both of them, and with the Minister of Health of Palestine, the lady with the flag behind her, and the President's Advisor. So this was a very good meeting. There was a good prospect of delivering aid through this. And then after that, the war came after that, but we were already in place with Project Cure to do something. So we decided in the end, on the basis of their good channels, to set up a fundraiser with Project Cure. This was set up a number of months ago, and there's a picture of the fundraiser there. We still welcome donations, but I'm going to be honest with you, it flagged a little bit as a collecting channel. So we decided, after responding to calls from peace ambassadors to set it up, we agreed to combine with a separate fundraiser from Med Global, still going through Project Cure, in order to be able to get a more quick result and get aid more quickly into Palestine. So if you can, please donate. We're still welcoming donations to this, but it will be closed as soon as we're ready to send a shipment to Palestine in connection with Project Cure. More recently, Lebanon, and then I'm coming towards the end of my presentation after that. I just want to highlight that in Lebanon, if you see the news, there's fighting going on even today, but we have a number of valiant local volunteers doing good work. This is again UPF Lebanon, again working with funds raised by the International Relief and Friendship Foundation in Germany, and they're sending money, sending help in this way to support displaced families, sometimes in Saida in southern Lebanon, sometimes in Beirut. This is working with the Ulfa Association. And here you see another associate, the International Association of Youth and Students for Peace, who are working together with the Family Federation for World Peace and a local charity called Mission Village. They're cooking meals, spending hours doing it, and then getting out on the street and delivering them to the displaced families in the tents. And this is a heartwarming effort inside Lebanon at this time when you've got 1 million people who are displaced, had to move out of the south of the country. So this just shows you a little bit the scope of what you will hear about from the others, as you have heard from me. The people we are able to partner with, the Education Department in Antakya in Turkey, Women's Federation in various countries, UPF, of course, NAVAD in Syria, IRFF in various countries, the Association Salmenot in Syria and France, Family Federation, the British Red Cross, the Anwar Association in Morocco, Project Cure, and then some of the people behind it, Sheikh Sohib of the Ulfa Association in Lebanon, YSP Lebanon, who partnered with all of these. That's Mission Village, LP4Y and Play for Peace, many different partnerships coming out, which is good for everybody involved. And Rehab Al-Bitar, Hajiba Ayoubi, and then not to forget others in Syria, Libya, and Russia who've been helping behind the scenes. Finally, Pierre already mentioned connections. Here's a page from the first issue which shows our next speaker, Dr. Hajiba Ayoubi. So I will close here and pass back to Pierre. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. Very impressive presentation. There was a request in the chat if you could put the link to the give, if some people might want to contribute to the cure effort. And I will put in the chat in a few minutes the PDF of the magazine Connections, which you see in the behind David there. The beautiful magazine, incredible articles about the situation in the Middle East, which is truly tragic. Even today, we get reports from our UPF representative in Lebanon that he's seeing plumes of smoke just from his own house. So the situation remains dire. And very impressive to see all the incredible network that UPF draws upon, mentioning Russian ambassadors for peace, the connection with UPF UK, the Red Cross, British Red Cross, connection with the Palestinian President's advisor, the advisor, yeah, and so on. So really, we see how NGOs play an incredibly important role. And UPF is really playing a wonderful role. So thank you so very much, David. Now I'll introduce our next speaker, which is Hajiba Ayoubi. Dr. Hajiba Ayoubi is a medical doctor working in health management with the Ministry of Health and Social Protection of the Kingdom of Morocco. She is a UPF Ambassador for Peace and a Global Women Peace Ambassador awardee with the Women's Federation for World Peace. She is also the Morocco Country Chair for World Peace under the auspices of the All Ladies League. I looked up the All Ladies League, and it says it's a multinational movement of 500,000 women worldwide. It was initiated actually in India. That's what my understanding. And its mission is to connect over 1 million women by 2024 and 5 million by 2025. Their code of conduct is all positivity, no negativity. So, Dr. Ayoubi, you have the floor. And yeah, you have to unmute. There you go. And David will share the PowerPoint.
Somebody have to unmute me. Yeah.
We
Thank
hear
you very much. Yes, thank you very much, Pierre. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with you tonight. I hope there will be no connection problems, so you can hear me well. And I will ask David to share the screen. Is it you, David, who will share the screen of my presentation?
Yes. We see this. We see you, and we see the screen. Everything is good.
Okay, and you hear me well?
Perfectly well.
Okay, thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Next slide, please. Well, as everybody knows, the Middle East has and still facing significant challenges, including conflicts and natural disasters. We all know that NGOs can address both immediate needs and long-term development. They can act as catalysts for stability and hope. And the presentation of Brother David has shown us that this is possible, and we have to believe in it. NGOs also play a crucial role in fostering peace and supporting affected communities. Next, please. A big role also in crisis response. They can mobilize resources and coordinate relief efforts. They act as a bridge between local community and international organizations. They provide immediate humanitarian aid and long-term recovery support. They build trust and empower local populations and community to rebuild their future. Well, I have been asked to talk about the solidarity caravan for El House earthquake that happened in Morocco. Yeah, this day, the 8th, September 8th, the day of the earthquake. I can never forget it because it was one Friday at 10 p.m. We were in our house, and actually we were in Larabat, and we feel the earthquake, and it was, I never faced before, like well, it was long in time and also strong, but we were so far away from the epicenter. As you can see in the map, the epicenter is in near a town called Eril, in the area of near Marrakesh, because Marrakesh is more famous, but the place is Provençal House. Slide, next slide, please. So it was an honor to coordinate this humanitarian convoy, and I have to make coordination between our Association for Equality for World Peace and Universal Peace Federation. Yes, the other slide, please. The objective was to provide aid to residents of Amarhut village, the village that was also affected in the place called theMiddle. And the date that we choose was Sunday, October 15. Of course, there has been a lot of preparation weeks before, and the pictures you can see now is the one night before, the evening of Saturday, where we were preparing for the day after. So everything was bought and prepared to be ready to. The departure was at 5 p.m. Sunday, October 15th. Yeah, and thanks to the youth of Anwar Association and the help of the president, Mrs. Mona Shemach, who everything was agreed, everything was well done, were well prepared for the caravan. Next slide, please. So here's the place where we have been. Of course, the road, you see, it's in the mountains, and the road was not easy at all. So this is the village of Amarhut in the province of Demnat, where we were. Yes, we had a lot of activities like distribution of essential goods and supplies. We benefit with engagement of the community, and there was also games given to the children and some activities. That was really comforting for the population, women and kids, because they were playing. I will show you pictures later. Also, we could listen to the
David, would you like to fill in a little bit?
Yes, I will just carry on reading. I wasn't obviously there, but you'll see from the pictures that follow that it was very good that they worked with a rounded perspective that looked at the whole family, not just at the delivery of items. This helped with the strengthening of community bonds and highlighted the effectiveness of the NGO. I'm going to move on. So this is the deliverer of aid to the families, and you can see in the pictures, you see Dr. Hajiba herself there, and hoping she's going to join us back soon. But I'll keep going for the sake of the momentum generally. Delivery here of clean bedding and food to the families, and you can see they had very difficult places to reach carrying what they received. And they also had a lot of games and entertainment. These are several pictures, but obviously was much needed by the families and the young people there. And this one actually is a video, so I'm going to play the video now and hope you can hear it at the same time. Whoops, I have to do that.
I think you forgot to click to share the sound.
What's that?
You didn't, the sound is not shared. You have to share the sound.
Ah.
But we can imagine they're singing.
So should I go back or shall I go on?
No, it's okay. I think it's okay.
Okay. So this is actually Dr. Hajiba's concluding slide. The Solidarity Caravan exemplifies the vital roles of NGOs in crisis response. Greater collaboration and support are essential to enhance their impact. Community involvement is essential for effective relief, and transparency and accountability build trust with both donors and beneficiaries. So these kind of humanitarian actions can promote peace and resilience in conflict regions. And I think that's very true. And this is...
Hajiba is here. Maybe she can say her concluding words.
Hajiba, I'm sorry I carried on for you with your slides. But if you want me to go back to a particular slide,
well, by all means. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much for thank you very much for helping the situations. Well, by all means and with all languages, I will tell you thank you very much. David has shown the rest of my presentation. So I'm here if there are any questions or if you need to make something more clear. Thank you very much. And I am sorry again for this interruption of my connection.
Well, we did feel your heart and your spirit, and you have a lot of big, generous heart of helping people. I think this came through very, very loud and clear to everyone. And compassion and acts of charity is the universal language that unites us all. And this is what humanitarian work is all about. And I think you demonstrated that so well. I personally have a very good, many friends from Morocco, Montreal, many Moroccans, but a colleague at work. And I'm not sure if he's in the meeting. He said he would try to attend, but he is a person of great charity and helping one another. And this is what this is all about. Helping one another is so important. And thank you so much for sharing about what you've been doing in Morocco. And now we will ask I will introduce our next speaker is Mr. Binod Paudel, President of UPF Turkey and the Family Association for World Peace Turkey. Born and educated in Nepal, Mr. Paudel has worked in various capacities with UPF for the last 10 years. From 2015 to 2020, he represented UPF Pakistan as its local coordinator, organizing UPF programs in collaboration with other organizations. In 2020, he moved with his family in Istanbul, right in the midst of COVID. What a time to move, where he serves as president for both UPF and the Family Association. After February 2023, the earthquake, the famous earthquake, which already we heard about from David, he coordinated relief and school projects in Antakya, Hatay province, Turkey. So, Mr. Paudel, you now have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Freire, and also Mr. David and other presenter. It is my honor to share our activities. My connection is okay?
Yes, very good.
Thank you. As you know, the Middle East means war and terrorism and many phobias. But the Middle East also we have deep, culture, family and family values, and many loving peoples, living in Middle East. And of course, historically, three different faiths, they originated from the Middle East and expand around the world. So that's why, we have peace also in Middle East. And I really hope that we can, unite for peace in Middle East. And I believe that, the peace will start from Middle East. So this is my wish and prayer. So needed all your help. So of course, I'm going to speak a little bit about Turkey. 2023, February 6, we experienced a huge earthquake, especially southeast part of the Turkey. And it is a very historical place. The, of course, center is Kahramanmaraş, and, more than 10 provinces are affected. And of course, millions of people, they lost their home, their relatives, their family members. And one of the devastated area is Antakya. So historically, the city of Antok, I think many of you well known about the name. So it's really difficult, and at the beginning there is a confusion. Of course, it was a massive destruction, and entire the city was collapsed. More than 10 provinces, and of course the government, they're trying their best to offer this rescue and others the services to their area. But unfortunately, because of the destruction, they cannot reach once, and so entire the city, was really destroyed, and it's difficult to reach everywhere because I think, we are not prepared that much, any country. So unfortunately, this is one of the picture that we was our concentrate our service activities. And this is, historical in a big city, but now like a museum of concrete. And when we visit there, of course, we are living in Istanbul, in our office, and we work here. So it is like almost 1,200 kilometers far from our Istanbul. So we don't experience, but when we visit there, we really feel the difficulties, and people are even many days they are outside the home, and they are staying in park whole night. They alive, they how to say, they sit down, and then they talk each other, drink the tea. and the daytime they're sleeping because the nighttime is very cold. And when we reach there, we feel, urgency that, because there is many organization, but sometimes it's difficult for the collaboration. And we got support from our peace ambassador. Actually, he also joined now our webinar. Our peace ambassador Juma Khan. He helped us to reach there and collaborate with the local authorities, that time police and others authority, to support and help us. So also school teachers, they help us to bring our relief material to necessary places, so that we can really bring those who need it immediately. So the more than 53,000 people die officially, and hundreds of thousands people, they are wounded, and they are still recovering. So this is our team. Actually, we traveled from Istanbul with relief material, and there is nothing is there, so we don't know where to stay, how long, how many days we are going to expend time and service activities there. So we just rent, the when we bought the stuff, the clothes and others, because weather is really cold and it's snowing. So we focus first clothes, and then when we reach there, and also we bought food from waters and first aid from the different closest city of the Antakya. So it is difficult, and our team, the volunteer team, and some of us, we are foreigner and also the local. So when we are there, even middle of night, we are checking and going each and every area, village, to give something, they, if they need, of course they need. And people are so, they inspire. Actually, they don't have house, but people come from different country in this very difficult time, and they welcome, with they're really the warm heart, and they share whatever they have. So it is really heart moving, the peoples. That's why I ate, at the beginning of my presentation, that we are people of love and people of heart, that even in difficult time, we really wants to share and care. And immediately after that, our European Middle East headquarter, and our the chairman, Dr. Balcom, he request our community to support financially for these all relief activities. And actually, we support, we reach 20,000 people. Of course, it's a big, it's a small amount, but we try our best to reach and support the many, this way, the other way, the needed our, the people, those who are in difficulties. And we decided to support also to build the one school in Antakya. Of course, everything is destroyed, but children, they moved to village side from the city after the earthquake. And there's a lot of children, they really don't have, and they really don't know what to do. And all of them are in trauma. Even parents, they lost their relatives. So we decided to support one school, and we request for the donation from a different organization, and then we receive from IRF of Sweden, IRF Germany, and also Family Federation European Middle East, and also WFWP Korea. So we collaborate and receive support from the authority, and then we we complete the school, container school. Of course, it is it's impossible that time to build a concrete building. It's still authority are not allow, and there's still the rescuing and other activities ongoing. So this is our school. You can see in the pictures top of the right side. So this is primary school, and their other rooms are destroyed, so they cannot use. And so we support the long big container that they can have the good place for the children's. And also we support the material equipment for playground and other stuff. And then the second pictures are down that especially supported by WFWB Korea, and we provide that the big container because everybody's living together and 100 200 people, so they have difficulties with toilet and shower and especially the laundry, so they lost everything, and we decided to use everything the compact package inside the one big container so that women and children they can have safe place for shower, toilet, and also the laundry. So it is really appreciated by local authority, and also we receive appreciation from the local authorities. So these are our contributions and part of the activities. So I'm all waiting. If you have any questions and anything that you want more detail, so I'm very happy to answer you. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Paudel, sharing the amazing work that is being done in Turkey and all over the region. We're going to have, I think, a very active period of questions and answer, and I'd like to jump into it right away. And because it's already 2:48, time flies. And Michael Jenkins, the UPF president for United States, is on the call, and we will ask him to say a few words. And I think also UPF Lebanon, I saw posted a comment. I'm not sure, is that the Shellens, perhaps? Larry Moffat is on the call. Yes, someone is telling yes, it is the Shellens. But Larry Moffat is here. Maybe Larry Moffat could make a comment. He's been very involved in MEPI.
I'm happy to make a comment too.
Okay, Dr. Jenkins. Dr.
Thank you.
Jenkins, can you turn your video on, please?
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Now I can spotlight you. So you have the floor, Dr. Jenkins.
Go ahead with Larry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead with Larry, please.
Larry Moffat. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. The thing that impresses me about the work and the things that not just things that have been talked about here, but things that are talked about, things that I've seen throughout the last 40 years, is that NGOs can go where governments can't go. That's the important thing. They can go quicker, they can go faster. You look at the United Nations, it's basically a big governmental organization, but they can't agree on the time of day. They can't deal with even one of these sustainable development goals. But if you look at an NGO, it goes into a situation where there's a specific need and emergency, and they start bringing in tents, food, and blankets, which are things that people need that day, or they start freezing and starving and have impact from disease and thirst and all kinds of things. So NGOs are just fast, just people going where the need is, whereas governments take so long to talk about things and debate them endlessly, and everybody's worried about their own turf, and everybody's guarding their own situation. And I'm not accusing any country. It's the case everywhere in the world. So that's what I see. I'll turn it over to Dr. Jenkins here.
Hello.
Oh, you're together.
Thank you, Larry. I am really grateful for our UPF leaders all across the Middle East region, especially David Fraser Harris, who's been there so many years, and also the presenters today. As the president of UPF International, we are engaging in a new level of Middle East dialogue because of the tragedies that are going on. But I just want to say this program underscores what's most important. The only way we're going to be able to engage both sides in the conflict and the multi-sides of Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, and Israel is through humanitarian aid and also interfaith dialogue. Interfaith dialogue never fails. It's amazing. We can go anywhere at any time. So commendation to all of you David, I'm so proud of you, even though you say you're not on the front line, but your heart and mind is on the front line. And most of the time you're leading our discussions on what to do next. So I would say, even though your body may not be in trouble, your mind is creating a lot of trouble on the front line, a lot of good trouble. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Peggy.
Thank you very much. Just a note here that for those who don't know, Michael Jenkins is president of Universal Peace Federation, chairman of UPF North America, and also the president of the Washington Times Foundation and chairman of Washington Times Holding. So we appreciate very much his constant. I can't imagine that he gets to sleep with all of that, but yeah. So now I'll bring the three panelists back on, and we will ask you. I would like to ask you to address a question was given by UPF Lebanon, which the question, if you saw it in the chat, the question is, I'm trying to do everything here. I'm also the tech person, I'm adding the spotlight. So why are we still not having peace in the Middle East despite so many peace initiatives by various NGOs? An easy question. Not easy, obviously. Very difficult. You can each take a stab, perhaps?
I often introduce myself as working for the Universal Peace Federation in the Middle East. And I say, from that, you know that I'm very successful at my work. Which is, there's a lot of sadness under those words, because we know the reality is that they're so far from peace.
Mm-hmm.
But the next thing I say is, never give up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, peace is not going to come if people give up. So where more is needed, where is work more needed than in the Middle East?
Right.
So we should be trying more, not less.
Yeah.
So that's it's not a magic wand saying we have an answer, but actually the only way peace is going to come is if people never give up trying to bring it. And that starts with every one of us, wherever we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
Thank you so much. We thank you for never giving up and continuing all throughout so many years of constant effort. Binod, Hajiba, would you like to try to answer that?
Yeah, I do agree with Mr. David. So I think that is why, especially UPF members, and peace-loving people are still working in the Middle East, and also we are very happy, you know, from US and around the world for your concern about Middle East and also support for Middle East. I think we need this kind of people to really create peace in Middle East, and especially I think we need to really encourage and work with the young people, those who are more open-minded and they want to, you know, the change in their lifetime, and they are educated, you know, by the modern technology or modern threat that, you know, they can unite more easily in this way. So I really hope that you know, cooperation with youth-minded people and organization that make change, and I really hope that this is the era that we can, you know, really change and bring. I'm not sure we'll bring, but we'll never give up and we'll continue. I support David's statement.
Hajiba, you.
Yes, never give up. I agree with my brothers, David and Pino. Look, we have seen what NGOs can do everywhere in the world, and especially in conflict zone, because people trust more. They don't trust politicals, and they even think that politicals and they are source of the problems. So we have to continue our efforts everywhere. Now, the global the world is like one country. So what happened here is affecting the other part of the world. So economically, socially, in by at all points. So we have to continue working. UPF, Women Federation for World Peace, all the NGOs to give a hand together and work with the local associations to bring peace, because as we believe, peace starts with us, and we have to believe in it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There's a comment here from Jeffrey Nakama. I believe it's Jeffrey Nakama from Hawaii. He's saying, I hope MEPI can be activated again and continue the impact in the Middle East. I think it is the hope indeed of every one of us that the interfaith dialogue that was done through MEPI can be reactivated sometime. With this, I'm going to ask you each to give one final statement. And starting with Binod, Hajiba, and finally David, Secretary General for UPF in the whole region.
Thank you, UPF team, for this opportunity that sharing our local initiatives to global level. And I think we need this kind of activities so that we can really bring and encourage those organizations and NGOs working the grassroots level, because they're always there even before the government, and they're really working very hard. So I thank you for your contributions and your support. So this is really encouraging us to work more and contribute that our community and the needed people. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ayoubi.
Again, sorry for the interruption, but I think that Brother David has said what I want to say. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you for this opportunity to talk with, as we mentioned, Brother Pierre, that it's for a worldwide webinar. We have seen some examples, but many work is done every minute, everywhere. And still, when there are many people in this world who still have hope, we have also to think about the youth and the children of this world. So we have to give hope, even if sometimes we do what we do, believe in peace, believe in the networking and working together to help people where they are in need. I don't think there was so many problems and conflicts like we are facing those days. So let's keep on working together and holding hand of each other and hoping, because hope is very important to bring peace to this world. Thank you very much.
I think I'll thank you by quoting Giorgio Gasperoni. He says, thank you so much for sharing. I'm with you. So we really feel your heart, Dr. Ayoubi, and we really appreciate your contribution to this webinar. And David.
Thank you both to both my co-presenters, first of all, for doing a great job. What I'm thinking of at the moment is we need to make peacemakers. And that means we need to give people experiences of how things really can change. I think, Hajiba, you have to mute yourself, but you're right, yeah. I believe that one of the successes of peacemaking is to give people that one little experience that changes the way they look at life and conflict and people. And this, some little project that we do, some little activity that we do, can create a person who 10 years or 20 years later might be leading a country. I can tell you that a project that we were running in 1982 included a young man who later became Prime Minister of Turkey. These people can be changed from a global vision they see through what we're doing, or they can be touched in their heart, and they can themselves become the peacemakers of the future. So let's really believe that our actions and our words can have a lasting impact beyond the small things that we do. And I want to thank you all for joining this call. You're taking time out of your day just for that. I'm grateful. And God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. We can feel your heart and your sincere concern that we need peacemakers. And indeed, interestingly, the UPF Connections magazine is about the youth, well, the front page to the very least. So we need the youth to really step in. And we have a lot of youth who care and we believe in the future. So this brings our webinar to a close. But it is only, as we can feel, at the beginning at the same time. So thank you all for your participation. And now the live stream will come to an end. And we invite you to come to our next month's webinar. Every month, IMAP is here and UPF is constantly there. So everyone, we wish you a wonderful day.